Hey everyone, I am Joanna Rogister, Wellness Renegade, and we are here for Real Talk Wellness Renegades at Speak Up and Empower. Speak Up and Empower is an online community of heart-centered people that are focused on recreating the vision, recreating the world and the vision that they have for it. We are heart-centered and driven to help people find more in their lives. Speak Up and Empower is a membership-based community, and we share conversations about topics that will help you change your life and become the best version of you. So check us out at speakupandempower.com. So today I'd like to talk to you about wellness renegades and about healing naturally. We are all designed to heal ourselves. We've just forgotten how. We've lost the tools that we need. We've lost the memory of the tools that we need in order to heal ourselves. And that's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just, the culture that we live in. But if we can come back to understanding more about natural therapies, then we can start to tap into our body's ability to heal itself. So that's what Wellness Renegades are all about. And I'm not about, cutting out anything that's not natural. I think medicine should be integrative, and I think that medicine should be, ideally you try natural therapies first. And then if you don't get relief, then, to consider Western medicine. I've certainly had clients have come in my door and said they've had something happen, and, it's like, well, get to your doctor and get this figured out and then come back and we'll find something to help you heal in the long run. So it is about coming back into an understanding of what your body needs, and being able to recognize what your body needs, because your body gives you signs all the time about what is going on, symptoms, headaches, anxiety, depression, gut issues, digestive issues, aches and pains in your joints. All these things are warning signs from your body to pay attention and to come back to understanding what's going on, because the body does try to balance itself on a second by second basis. The cells, the organs, everything is rebalancing in order to ensure that your body functions at an optimal level. And so this is why people, say, I don't feel well, and they go to their doctor, and the doctor says, well, there's nothing is showing up in your tests. And so they send them home, and then, they're back in a week, 2 weeks, a month later, and they have something wrong with them seriously that can be diagnosed. It's because earlier on, their body was continuously balancing itself. And so nothing was showing up in tests, but the body balances itself until it no longer can. And that's when things start showing up on tests, and you get hormonal imbalances, you get, different blood level imbalances and things along that lines. But if we can pay attention to what our body is telling us ahead of time, then we can make changes before the body truly reaches that point where it can't recover itself, where it can't balance itself. And so this is where understanding your body, being that observer of the signs that you're being shown, understanding natural therapies and how they work and why they work and how they could work for you will help you. Because you can, once you recognize the symptoms, you can go, hey, something's going on here. There's something not right. There's something out of balance. And let's figure it out and try different things to see if we can bring your body back to balance. There are so many therapies out there, so many natural therapies that, it's really hard to comprehend, what to do. And I think that's what I'd really like for you is for you to be able to recognize natural therapies, understand them better, understand how they can work for you, when they can work, et cetera, et cetera. Last week, I had on Lynn Grushka, and Lynn Grushka is, amazing, very knowledgeable about how to remove chemicals from your home. Chemicals have a huge impact upon our bodies, whether you're using them to clean or however, you're breathing them in, they're on your skin. It's very important for us to understand the impact of chemicals upon our body. Anything that's in your environment will come into your body because it will be absorbed either by you breathing it in, by it getting onto your skin. There's so many different ways for those chemicals to get into your body. So if we can remove as many chemicals as possible from our homes, from our our lives, then we will benefit from this. People used to will say to me, right, that well, I have my father, or mother, or uncle, or aunt, or whatever, that never smoked all their lives, and they were healthy up until the very end. Well, that's wonderful. It does mean they have great genes, but I believe that previous generations were not exposed to the chemicals at the levels that we are exposed to. They also didn't experience the stress levels that we experience in this day and age. They also were, more often likely to have lived on farms and eaten a more whole, more natural diet. They weren't exposed to the chemicals, the toxins in their foods, in the environment they lived in. And so they ate better. They weren't exposed to the chemicals and the toxins. They weren't under stress all the time. There's so many factors going into it. It's not just, good genes, right? Good genes help, but elimination of all those other factors also really allows their body, that even if they are exposed to, cigarette smoke, or they drank a lot or whatever, their body can recover from it because the body's not dealing with all those toxins. What happens with so many of those toxins is it gets into our liver and gets stored into our liver until our liver can detoxify it. And that's what can become a problem, because the liver only has, the liver can store a lot in there, but if it doesn't have that opportunity to detoxify what's stored up, then we can start to have issues down the road. There are so many things, just to talk about in there, right? How to detoxify the liver, how to eliminate foods, or allow your body to have that opportunity to detoxify. So perhaps that's a great place to start for today, is how do we allow our body to detoxify? Well, of course, the way we eat has a huge impact upon the functioning of the liver or kidney or other parts of our body. But it's giving our bodies a break by eating whole foods that are natural and are chemical free will really help, because then the body doesn't have to deal with detoxifying it. Eliminating caffeine, eliminating alcohol, all these things have to be detoxified within the body. Eliminating stress. Stress releases a whole avalanche of chemicals into your body that the body then has to deal with. In the past, if you were exposed to something stressful, and the cortisol and adrenaline, all those things were released, you would then, fight, or you would flee. So you would use up those cortisol, those stress hormones in the action, like whatever caused you the stress. But in this day and age, we are under so much stress from just our day-to-day environment, from our work life, relationships, road rage. So many different factors cause us stress in our lives that we don't use up those chemicals, and they get stored in our body and get stored in the liver to detoxify at a later time. And, these chemicals can't be pulled out of the cell. And so it creates just this whole other cycle of issues that is really important for us to give the body a break and take the opportunity to allow itself to clean itself up. There is a debate whether or not cleansing is necessary. Some scientists will say that you don't need to, your body naturally does it itself. But to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because so often there is just so many toxins in the body that the body is overwhelmed by them. And so giving your body a break, whether it's in intermittent fasting and cutting out breakfast every day, or cutting out another meal, so you're eating only for 8 hours a day, and in the other 16 hours your body is given a break and allowed to take care of itself and detoxify. So intermittent fasting is a great way to help your body heal itself, a great way for your body to have that break of continuously taking food into it and allowing it to do the work that it was designed for, to detoxify and to cleanse. So that's where the beauty of intermittent fasting happens. Because so you're detoxifying, but it also increases like it brings balance back to the body, because once again, the body is designed to heal itself and the body is designed to come back to balance. And when you give it a break, so it doesn't have to continuously work, then it can take care of itself. Also, we'll get into caloric reduction with it, of course. And it used to be that scientists would say the best thing you can do for your body is reduce calories, change your diet, reduce those calories. But now it's intermittent fasting along with caloric reduction, and not caloric reduction to the degree that they used to suggest, because they used to suggest that you get down to 750 calories. And if you've ever counted your calories, that's very difficult to do. So I would suggest getting up to, depending upon your weight and everything like that, and a variety of other factors, going up to 1,250 calories and doing the intermittent fasting. And if you think about that, 625 calories in a couple meals, it can be very easy to go over, but if you're eating well and eating healthy, 625 calories in a couple meals isn't that challenging to stick to. There are other ways of helping yourself out. I'm a huge believer in the keto diet and the ketogenic diet, high fat, low carb. This is combined with intermittent fasting is a great way, because if you're taking in a lot of good fats, then your body is not stimulated by the glucose. So good fats, low carbs. A lot of times what happens is that the glucose keeps us, it goes into your system very quickly and it's released within 90 minutes. Let me explain that better. Glucose as an energy source goes into your body, spikes the blood sugar levels and drops down, and it's gone within 90 minutes. Whereas fat, it's slower release, has a slower impact, but the energy source lasts in your body for 3 hours. So you will not be as hungry as quickly if you're eating a high fat, low carb diet. And, how many carbs do you need? Well, that will depend upon you, how much, if you want to lose weight, what are your reasons for doing it? All these things along those lines. And the keto diet can be challenging to follow, but I think the biggest thing with the ketogenic diet is a good understanding of how it works and why it works, to know, what are good fats. Because a lot of times with the keto diet, what happens is that people take in too much protein. And protein, of course, is different from fats. But protein, if you take in an excessive amount, will turn to glucose in your system. Sorry about that. And then you have to deal with that. So also, if you take in too much protein, you'll get into the muscle wasting, which is the old Atkins diet. The Atkins diet was high protein, medium fat, low carb. So we want high fat, medium protein, low carb. So making sure that you're getting in enough fats. And how do you do that? You put olive oil, coconut oil, ideally coconut oil, avocado oil, and some olive oil on, basically everything. But if someone tells you they're eating pepperettes and cream cheese for lunch, then they don't get a ketogenic diet. So do the research, reach out if you need to. I've got lots of information that I can send you. But I just think the keto diet is really great. And when I do my intermittent fasting, if I'm hungry in the morning, it usually indicates to me that I didn't eat enough fat the day before. And no, I don't eat tablespoons of fat or anything like that. But, you can add MCT oil to your diet. You make sure you cook with enough fat, all these things along that lines. And then there's also exogenous ketones, which is a ketone that you drink and that can help you with your intermittent fasting. But the biggest thing, one of the things, people say, well, keto diet, that high fat, that's hard on your liver and high, increases your cholesterol levels. Ideally, no. If you're eating keto right, it will not increase all of your cholesterol levels. It may increase one of them, but there's actually a lot of science coming out now that the cholesterol levels that are being set are actually too low for us and are not healthy for us. We don't want to go too high, but if we're eating good, clean fats, then our body can deal with them. And so much of what we've been told all our lives is that fats are bad and that we need to cut them out. And there's so much evidence out there now that fats are essential for a high functioning brain, a high functioning body, for high performance athletes, for athletes in general, right? But it's that cutting out the carbs that's really important, and understanding what carbs are, because there's carbs in vegetables, carbs in almost everything except for animal products. So it's important to get a good understanding of what keto is in order to really make it work and have it successful for you, but also a reminder once again about exogenous ketones. And you'll find that it will not have, the keto diet will not have that impact upon the liver. And if you're combining it with the intermittent fasting, you will be giving your liver a break, and you will be allowing it to come back to a place where it can handle any of the toxins it takes in. Because the liver, I think there's something like 330 functions that it undertakes on a moment by moment basis. So it's so important to give it that break. One of the other things I would throw out there for your consideration is the fact, if you've ever heard of Louise Hay wrote many books over time, but one of the biggest ones she wrote was called You Can Heal Yourself. And she was able to heal herself. And what she came to realize when she healed herself is that mental, emotional connection to physical imbalances. So much of what is taking place in our body is as a result of the way our minds are thinking, what our thoughts are, what our emotions are. And so they will have, I know that mental, emotional manifests physically. I could tell you my story about developing Graves' disease, which is a hyperthyroid autoimmune condition. And in it, your body is in overdrive. And in my life, I was in overdrive and just too much going on, and got overwhelmed, but wasn't paying attention to my body, all those things. So, but, with all of my clients that I see, I always can come back to when an imbalance started and what was going on in their life, either, in the 6 months, a year before that. It will always manifest that way. And so it is important to take a look at that mentally emotional. And if you consider in Louise Hay's book about the mentally emotional component of liver is all about anger issues, and not dealing with anger or having too much anger. And so you will always get liver issues if there's a lot of anger in your life, and it may manifest as allergies. Allergies are related to your liver's ability to handle the responses within your body to food sensitivities and to allergies. If you have liver issues, you probably have neck and shoulder issues too. They are often connected. So take a look at that. And, Louise Hay, Hay, it's great to, if I've got any client and I'm not sure what's going on, I will always pull it out, and the book out, and the list of imbalances, and it always gives me idea. And I've never had it. I've never read it and said, oh, well, this is the thought process that's taking place here. And it's always, well, yes. So it's always amazing to me about life and about how our bodies function, and the interplay, that cycle, the circle of the mental, emotional, physical, and how it's so important to address any imbalance that's taking place from that holistic perspective. To just have a symptom and address it with a medicine that's only addressing that symptom is just illogical on so many levels. So that's where, natural therapies are amazing to help you address the whole body. Your thoughts, look at your thoughts, bring down anxiety, change depression, the negative loop that can go on in our heads so often and can affect us. Every single one of you knows someone that affects them on an energetic level, that when they're spending time with them, those people seem to suck their energy, or they come away from them feeling very low, or they come away from them very angry. And this is an example of that holistic understanding of yourself is coming to recognize what's really going on here. This person is draining me. And if you want to find out more about how energy works in a really nice, simple way, one of the great books that I've got here is called The Energy Bus by John Gordon. And it is a great book, 10 Rules to Fuel Your Life, Work, and Team with Positive Energy. And it explains all about energy and how energy affects us on a daily basis, and how other people's energy affects us, and how our energy affects other people. Whether this is about a relationship or a work issue where he's, his negative attitude, outlook on life has come to affect his performance, and he is challenged in order to do something about it. So it's a great book. There's actually a child version book that's out there. So it's that, if you are just starting to recognize energy and to start to understand it better, that's a great book that really explains it in a great way. There's so much to understand about how your body works, how it tries, it's constantly rebalancing, recreating itself, how our environment affects us, how our mental processes affect us. That's where it is astounding to me about Western medicines that, they just address one symptom, and there's so many side effects. So this is, come to understand natural therapies and come to understand how they can work for you. It is a challenge to start to play with it, right? To understand there is science behind them. There's, for example, Reiki. Reiki is energy runs through all of us. You can actually, with a specialized camera, you can see how energy runs through us. You can see energy in the field around you. You can see energy in a rock, around a rock. Energy flows through everything, single thing in this world, whether it's animate, inanimate, and it has an impact upon us. And when energy is not flowing, when it's blocked or there's too much in one area, then we will have imbalances. And that imbalance can be affected by our thoughts, by our emotions when we get triggered. If you ever think of the last time you were emotionally triggered, how your body responded, that, you go into overdrive. If you've ever experienced road rage, what's happening with road rage is like, right? So your body is affected. Even right there, I could feel it, that response is putting hormones into my body to react like that, has an impact upon our body. I'll have to go out and run around the block to get rid of those stress hormones. But it is understanding this, understanding ourselves, understanding more about who we are and how our body functions, that is so important going forward if you truly want to change your health, if you truly want to understand yourself better and to help those around you. Especially so often for the women with children, and men can do this too, but women tend to be more typically they're caretakers. And yes, it's changing, but typically more the caretakers. But so when you as a mother or a caretaker come to understand how energy affects then you can teach those around you. And when you heal yourself, you can come to understand, and healing yourself will help you to heal those around you also. So it's an amazing cycle, and there's so much to learn. So, today we talked more about the liver and the impact, and so many things about the liver, the mental, emotional component, how to affect it. If you want to help balance your liver better, the intermittent fasting is amazing for it. You can also consider any sulfur foods, any foods that are higher in sulfur, and you can just Google that will help boost your liver. But there's some great teas that are higher in sulfur, some great teas, such as anything with a bitter component to it. That, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, all those things. There's some great like fennel tea and fenugreek, and even mint tea is very soothing and allows it to relax. So there is so much going on here, and there's so many components that to compress it all. But the biggest thing is to Start to pay attention to that body. I talked at the start about the symptoms that your body presents itself to you, those warning signs that an imbalance is present. Start to be that observer in your life and start to listen to what your body's telling you. If you want to journal three different symptoms that you had that day and start to notice trends, things along that lines will help you just to become more aware of your body, what it's trying to show you. And then down the road, you're going to be able to go, oh, this is what's going on. This is what I need to do. I need to reduce my stress or consider intermittent fasting. So many different factors that are there. And to start to understand yourself better. So I mentioned Reiki briefly. Reiki helps that flow of energy through your body, and so that you can relax, rejuvenate, rest, bring back your focus to your body, breathe, and start to let that energy flow. And Reiki can be done on yourself, but often people will have a Reiki treatment with someone. Usually they're 45 minutes to an hour long, just depends upon the Reiki practitioner. And she or he will place their hands. Typically, it's not on your body, but that certainly can. It depends how comfortable you are with it. And the hands over your body will bring awareness and the flow of energy back to the body so the body can come back into balance itself and come back to healing. So we'll talk more about different therapies not down the road, nutritional therapies, healing therapies, processes to help your body function at a higher level, all those things. I'm Joanna Rochester, Wellness Renegade. Check me out at Joanna Rochester Wellness Renegade. Check me out on Speak Up and Empower. And check out Speak Up and Empower. It is just speakupandempower.com, but it is an amazing website. If you're an expert and want to have your voice heard, then we will help you find your voice, help you find an audience so that you can share what you have to teach, the story that you have to share. And then for those that are searching for more in their lives, we bring you all the experts to give you the tools that you need to have that more. So Speak Up and Empower is an online membership-based community of heart-centered people focused on recreating the world that they envision for themselves and for others, having conversations that change the way we think. So once again, Joanna Rochester, Wellness Renegade at Speak Up and Empower, Real Talk, Wellness Renegades. See you next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.